Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. I'm Chris, this is my channel. Absolute pleasure to have you with me here today. And this video is all about playing the guessing game. It's a speculation video, folks. GI Joe Classified has got kind of two spoilery things, tease things that have got some mystery around them. They are the name-only Duke that is on a mission, and then the teaser piece that was shown on the fan stream just last week. And there's been some stuff going on this week in the world of GI Joe Classified that may help us contextualize those two teaser pieces and come to some kind of decisions as to what we may or may not be seeing. So join me now as we go on a guessing game journey to try and determine what the little teaser piece might be and who the Duke might be, with some additional news thrown in the mix for good measure. So let's get into it. And I'm going to start with the newsy bit because this is going to contextualize some of the decisions I've made in my guessing game. Earlier this week, Destro is my spirit animal, my man Mark here, dropped another Deep Throat Leaks video. You might remember, in fact, Destro is my spirit animal dropped a leaks video some time ago and it kicked up a fair bit of fuss. However, a number of the items that appeared on that original list have proven to come true, and therefore I think this new set of leaks may have a little bit of credibility to them. This was the slide I used when I'd reported on Mark's list from a while ago here, and you can see already that the Retro Wild Bill, the Zanya and Swamp Buggy, which we now know to be the Chameleon, the Swamp Skier, the Dino Hunter's Velociraptor, although actually I've misrepresented it in my list there because Mark on his channel said very clearly a new figure with a dinosaur Velociraptor companion, which, you know, Professor Rockclaw, done, dusted. Destro and his despoiler on the way. The Hiss Tank Strike team, which largely consensus is the Arctic 3 pack, which is not quite a Hiss Tank Strike team, but kind of ties into the Arctic Hiss Tank, you know, 2/3 of it does. And we've seen the new ferret, the new green camo snake eyes on ferret that was shown off. Where was that shown off? I've just had a total brain fart, but it was shown off somewhere recently. So there's some credibility to the list. Let's have a look at the new items on Destro is my spirit animals leaks list. There is a stealth claw, which could very well be the stealth trouble bubble, actually, just mislabeled by the leaker. A new road pig, a winter cobra commander, a winter baroness, which would tie in nicely with the kind of Arctic theme that appears to be heavily coming in later in the year. A dreadnought trike, which admittedly was on the original list with a heart wrencher, and heart wrencher has been knocking around on the leaks list for some time. A Hong Kong retailer named Heart Wrencher, along with a number of other characters that we've already seen like 2 years ago. I don't know if they were just punting their chances, but everything else on that list other than Heart Wrencher turned up, so who knows. A snake armor in Diatech. I've got thoughts about that one, but this isn't the video for that. A new Serpentor, a Scoop, a Triple T, an Energon Universe Baroness, which I'm very excited about, a Muskrat, a Zanzibar, and a Voltar, all from this kind of deep throat leaker who's been sending Destro is my spirit animal information. And I think between these two lists as they stand, the original list with the things that haven't turned up yet, like Dusty with Sandstorm, the Desert Team Pack, and then things on this newer list may drive or help us come to some decisions when it comes to speculating about the Duke and speculating about the teaser piece. So now let's move on to talk about those two teased items, and I'm going to present some speculative proposals. So let's start with the teaser piece. Here is the screen capture I took when I reported on the fan stream last week. Was it the week before last? Anyway, recently, certainly this month. It was April the 1st, and I'm recording this on the 9th. So there we go. So like a kind of crown piece maybe or something. Definitely got a Cobra logo at the front. You got these kind of serpent themes knocking around on there. And of course, the first thing that would occur to me is that there's a new Serpentor listed on the leak list. In fact, I'm pretty confident, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, that it was kind of tentatively implied that we were going to be getting a retro Serpentor somewhere down the line, you know, following the convention exclusive version. And we all know that Serpentor is a guy who's, you know, known for his ceremonial garb, Certainly, I'm a big fan of the IDW continuity, and you saw him a number of times without the full, Cobra snakehead helmet there. So the piece could be a part of the new Serpentor offering that's on the leaks list. I'm not sure I'm as fully convinced by that, but I know that speculation around and about on the socials has been in that space. I'll tell you what I think my best guess is in a minute. But then we've also got Hooded Cobra Commander. I said this when we talked about the fan stream last week. Anything that comes along that gives even the slightest whiff of a Hooded Cobra Commander, everybody leaps on it. Again, known for kind of ceremonial garb, Hooded Cobra Commander with the cape, the long cloak, the staff, the scepter, all that kind of good stuff. A Cobra-style crown wouldn't necessarily go amiss. With the recent release of the Cobra La Royal Guard kind of building the Cobra La lineup, a lot of folks are thinking perhaps Globulus there. And now in the movie and in the comic books, he hasn't ever actually kind of been seen with a crown on his head. However, a serpent Cobra-y themed, what they call arm torque, bicep band or something might not be out the realms of possibility. My man Charlotte Prime, Eric, erstwhile occasional co-host on the even more occasional live streams that I do, suggested, talking about armbands, torque pieces, that it could be for a heel turn Sergeant Slaughter, which I think is a really interesting one to put on the table. This is from Joe Fest, not last year, the year before, where Grindhouse Toys were doing a kind of custom kit where you could build yourself a heel turn Sergeant Slaughter with them, as an activity on the day, which I thought was really fun. So I grabbed this too because I think it looks excellent. But these remain not my best guess, actually. And to be fair, I've brought up the Destro is my spirit animal leaks list, but I'm going to stray wildly away from it. Because what I've been saying to folks in my comments on the last video, and I alluded to it in my last video on this subject, is that I think it's this. I think it's a classified version, a modern reinterpretation of the Cobra mind control headband that came up a number of times in the cartoon, the Sunbow cartoon. In this instance, it's from the Jungle Trap episode, and that's Dr. Shakur wearing a golden mind control headband with a serpent across the front, and I could just kind of see it being in that ballpark. Thing is, and what I was saying to a couple of people I was talking to, is I'm not sure I can see how that would translate into a set, but if you take it a little bit further, mind control headbands have appeared in a more simplified form in other episodes. This is from the Mass Device 3-parter, when Duke was captured and used in a kind of combat arena where he had to fight Ramar, and they were being controlled by little Atari control joysticks by Destro and Cobra Commander. Ramar and Duke were fighting it out a number of times across the 5 parts of the Mass Device saga. You've got Celine there as well, who I've now just realised I prepared my image badly because Selena is being obscured by my General Hawk in the bottom corner there. Apologies, but hear me out. San Diego Comic-Con exclusive last year was a Sunbow-inspired Cold Slither set. And I'm just kind of wondering if the Duke name-only reveal and the little piece are part of one and the same, and it's going to be some kind of Mass Device set, like a Sunbow cartoon-inspired San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that's got the Duke and kind of leaning into he's on a mission, he's looking a bit rugged kind of thing with maybe a torn-up combat shirt or something, with a Ramar and a Celine, perhaps. It would be consistent with the kind of Sunbow cartoon-inspired San Diego Comic-Con exclusive we got last year. The mind control headband piece is just a kind of a more elaborate, modernized, classified version of the piece inspired by the version that was seen later on in the Sunbow show, in the Jungle Trap episode. But it's actually an animated inspired 3-pack that's going to be a convention exclusive. That's my big guess. That's my big guess. So despite the new Serpentor being on the leak list, that's kind of where I'm landing. However, there is a little bit more speculation or guessing that I have to offer on the Duke. Obviously, we've got a big kind of Arctic winter weather theme coming down the pipeline. Obviously, the Snowcat's on its way. We've got Frostbite being included in that, along with Arctic gear, Flint and Arctic gear, Lady J. So I wouldn't be surprised if we've got an Arctic gear Duke coming down the pipeline. We've got the Arctic 3-pack as well coming out with the Arctic version of the Saw Viper, the Arctic version of the Night Viper, and the Arctic version of the Steel Brigade dude, with elite list that has a winter weather Cobra Commander and a winter weather Baroness. So like really leaning into the theme there. And Iceberg still on the name only list, yet to be revealed. So an Arctic version of Duke might not be off the table. I mean, I still think it's the Mind Control headband, but I'm just putting it out there. He's on a mission and a bit rugged, and the fact that we've got an Energon Universe Baroness being leaked makes me swing back around to a guess I put on the table in my video covering the fan stream. That maybe it's some kind of covert Duke here, the like of which we've seen in, this is in his own comic book in issue 1, where he's sneaking into Mars Industries there to go and see if they've got a Transformer. He doesn't know it's a Transformer, but looking for a Transformer. So the black beanie, the beard, the kind of black polo neck with the grey trousers and the grey trimmings, the kind of covert sneaking in infiltrator style look, which would be nice. And even though the Energon Universe character named in Elite List is Baroness, I could perhaps see something, you know, some synergy there. Just a random one to put on the table because we all kind of wanted it. A diver Duke. A scuba diver Duke. Lots of folks said some head swaps to go with the condiment divers would be a good idea. You know, a Duke head swap, a shipwreck head swap, etc., etc. I don't know. I'm just throwing this one randomly in the list because then if it turns out to be right, I can pull a Viper Island and say, as I said in April. This one was put on the list by a viewer who dropped it in the comments on the fan stream coverage I did back then. This was Sentinel Giga, who said he was a big fan of the Pursuit of Cobra line and really loved the jungle edition of Duke. He said they did quite a few. I'm less familiar with Pursuit of Cobra, but he said they did a number of versions of characters that all kind of had this sort of Predator jungle vibe going, and that would be a pretty cool set. I mean, it looks good, but hear me out. On the leak list, on the first leak list that Destro is My Spirit Animal put out, there was a kind of desert combat sub-team thing mentioned. And in the Pursuit of Cobra, there is a Desert Strike Duke. Thanks to His Tank, by the way, for their very comprehensive catalogue of Pursuit of Cobra characters. Yeah, and this is it. This is the Desert Strike Duke. With a kind of, a pulse rifle there by the looks of it, a Colonial Marine pulse rifle and some kind of big rocket launcher type thing. But the file card is all about a Desert Strike and what have you, and he's got that kind of body armor and stuff. And I could see them kind of mixing and matching into a classified-ized version of a Pursuit of Cobra style Desert Duke with a more kind of rugged face look that is in line with the Energon Universe comic book version of the character, because the Energon Universe version of the comic book character also has a tactical vest over the top of his shirt. So while I think the Duke name only reveal and the teaser piece from the fan stream might not speak directly necessarily to the stuff that's on Destro's My Spirit Animals leaked lists, I think there are kind of clues or things that we can use to kind of put jigsaw pieces together. You know, a kind of desert combat sub-team idea with a desert team pack, Dusty with Sandstorm, and additional characters could mean we're seeing a kind of desert style combo Pursuit of Cobra, Energon U, Duke in the mix there. The clear and obvious continuation of the winter weather, winter combat gear continuing on the elite list might imply that the Duke is Arctic gear. But that said, I'm pinning my vote on the Mind Control headband. San Diego Comic-Con, Sunbow cartoon inspired 3-pack with Duke, Ramar, and Selena in it. That's where I'm going, I think. So there we go, folks. Just kind of collating bringing together and consolidating the guest work that I've been doing in the comments with my fellow viewers, my community members, alongside the Destro is my spirit animal leaks list. Thanks once again to Mark for sharing his insider scoops with us here in the community. Mark, FYI, I tried to reach out to you, man, on Instagram, but I don't know if you're getting the messages. I think I might be buried in your requests or whatever with all the other kind of spam shit that goes into there. So do us a favor, man, reach out. I'd like your blessing to be referencing you so heavily here in these videos. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below, where are you sitting? Like I say, my big vote is that the headpiece is the mind control device, and I think it's a convention exclusive Sunbow inspired set. And on the Duke, I'm thinking desert. I'm thinking desert combat Duke. There's some kind of mashup between the Energon Universe Duke and the Pursuit of Cobra Duke. There you go. There's my two top list. However, I put loads of others in there as well, like I say, so I can pull a Viper Island and say I had it right all along. Give me your guesses, or how do you feel about my guesses? It's a fun video. I was just having fun with it earlier today, and I wanted to put it down on tape, particularly after seeing Mark's video last night. So let me know your guesses in the comments down below, or how you feel about my guesses. Otherwise, thanks for coming and hanging out, guys. Always a pleasure to have you around these parts. Do the like and subscribe, YouTubey bollocks, to help me out. And do me a favor, let a friend know about me as well. If you know someone who you think might enjoy my content, sling me their way. Help me out with the kind of algorithmic dissemination of the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel. But all that remains to say is have yourselves a great day, have yourselves a great week, and swing back around again for another video sometime soon, right? Take it easy, folks.